I'm pissing off the neighbors. Whether homegrown or imported, we feeling shorted, cause we waiting on our paper. So next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Yeah, you don't know about the D, you don't know about the streets, cause when you're in the Motor City, nothing is as pretty as the hustle. You don't know about the day, you don't know about the streets, cause when you're in the Motor City, everything ain't pretty but it's love though. Next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, when we get you back on the feet. Yeah.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Spike Kool-Aid for Friday, September 29th, 2023. As your first place, 3-1 Detroit Lions come away, man, with a victory over the Green Bay Packers. Let me pop this chat out real quick, and we can shout out people in the chat. Let me do that. Pop it up right there. What is up? Bonzilla says, what's good, Lions Nation? How does it feel to be king of the North? Feels good. What's up? Braylon, what is going on? Says, Jordan Love found out who his daddy was last night. That's facts. Robbins, what's up, man? Says, Detroit fixing to explode. That's facts. Bro, I'm so tired, says Mr. Poole. Hey, you and me both. What's up, 1021? What's up, bro? Joey, what's good? What's good? I'm sure everybody's had a great Friday. Isn't it so much better when you win? It's so much better when you win, right? Winning feels so much better. I'm thinking about yesterday's game and the dominance that was established. And I was talking about dominating the NFC, like letting the world know, letting the NFC North know that the Lions are here. Dan Campbell is 4-1. And if you haven't seen Matt LaFleur's press conference, or as I like to call him, Matt LaFleur, he was upset last night. Dan Campbell has had this man's number. Matt LaFleur without Aaron Rodgers, whole different beast. You know, it was funny because everybody was lauding Jordan Love as we came into this game. And I remember, is this the same Jordan Love that we saw in his 3 years prior with the whenever he would have to come in for injured Aaron Rodgers? Like, I was never afraid of him. But yesterday, everybody's making it seem like leading up to yesterday's game that Jordan Love was the next coming of Aaron Rodgers. I'm not even lying. I heard actual analysts say that. And yesterday, I think all that was put to bed. It was put to bed. The Detroit Lions, in my opinion, have the best quarterback in the division. Kirk Cousins is playing his tail off right now, but there's no consistency. There's none. Plus, he needs a team around him. So I'm going to give it to Jared Goff. It's a close. Kurt is a close second, but Jared just has him in resume. You know what I'm saying? But Kurt, he playing some good football. Robin says victory Monday and Friday. Hey, victory 10 days, brother. Victory 10. That's what I'm calling these. Victory 10. I got a surprising stat that I want to share with you guys. I want to save some stuff for Detroit Lions Syndicate or Lions Syndicate. Shh, let me not say that too loud. because I want to make sure I get some content over there. What's up, Judah? What's good with you? ESPN finally decided to talk about the Lions for a change, says Aaron. That's good, man. I did see Stephen A. Smith and Ryan Clark running their mouth with Bart. I thought he was fired, but I guess not. I know Stephen does not like to talk about our team. LaFleur was, yes, he was mad. Packers fans out here saying last night's game has an asterisk. We didn't have most of our own line and Jair. It is so much content. It's so much content. I actually can't put it all out. Even if I make videos on this channel and the other channel, it is so much content. It's ridiculous. We tied with the Steelers in sacks. You know what, T-Stay Cole? Let's do that, bro. Let's do that. We have our first segment. The Detroit Lions defense was phenomenal, right? These last two games, it has been probably the best I've seen in a long time. After the win on Sunday, we talked about Aaron Glenn and was he safe? I think yesterday went a long way to saying he was, that we wouldn't have to see anyone fired. We wouldn't have to see a scapegoat this year. It's almost like that he heard what we had to say. Not only us as the fan base, but the national media as well. The Detroit Lions had one sack after two games, and it was by a linebacker on a busted scramble play. Resulted in, I want to say, a giant loss, right? Since that time, we have 7 sacks, 5 sacks for a total of 12 sacks. In 2 games, we have 13 on the season. On top of that, our defensive line on Sunday, which was just 96 hours ago from the game last night, accounted for 7, got another 5 yesterday. Has the Detroit Lions defensive line turned a corner? Our defensive line against the run, we allowed 27 whole yards yesterday. So to this point in the season, over the past 2 games, we have allowed on the ground less than 75 rushing yards total. I might have to talk about that in a separate video. Has the defense turned a corner? I have been saying, as long as I've been talking about football on this platform, that I think Aiden said it, the defensive lineman said, this game is won and lost in the trenches. If you can pressure a quarterback like a Jordan Love, like a Desmond Ridder, you can have a secondary like a Jerry Jacobs. I don't want to come at him today. All right. Had 2 interceptions. He had 2. It was his birthday last week. I'm going to cut him some slack. He didn't. I'm not going to talk about the negative in Jerry Jacobs. Not today. Okay. I'll save that for another time. But the defensive line has stepped up where, according to in the chat, we are only behind the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? I think, what? TJ, how many does he have by himself? So as a matter of fact, let me pull up. I should have tried to do this before. We have, I think it's on NFL. I can find it on NFL.com. The leaders going into game 3 against the Atlanta Falcons when we had our 1 sack. Do you know where we were? If you watch this show, you do. We were, all right, second to last in sacks. The only team that was behind us was the New York Giants. That was it. New York Giants going into that game. I want to say it was against whoever it was. Whoever they played, Kayvon Thibodeau got a sack, got him on the board. Coming into Atlanta Falcons, 1 sack. Since that time, plus 12 in the sack column. That is what why the change in this defense has occurred. And mind you, those sacks came with 0 blitzing. Yes, Robbins, I did see I heard an interview, the same LaFleur interview that he was upset, said the Lions didn't blitz until the last play of the first quarter. How crazy is it that this is our team? It's like they heard what we had to say and they turned the corner. I'm trying to see. Let me go to stats here. This is where a producer will come in handy. I am going to go to the defensive side if I can find it. Fumbles, field goals, kickoff, punts, 2023. And of course, they're not letting me find it now. But the Detroit Lions, man, 13 sacks on the season, 12 in the last 2 games. I don't know what the Washington Commanders got in week 3. I have no idea. I don't know what the Dallas Cowboys got. I think Micah Parsons got a sack or 2 in their week 3 matchup. So has the Detroit Lions defense turned a corner? Has this defensive line turned a corner? What do y'all think in the comment section? Says I have to see the interview. Well, I just might bring it in, sir. So keep waiting and we'll see. What are y'all saying? TJ has 4 or 6. How many does he have? Lions. I see we're going to have to make that a video. Crazy thing I sent you. All right. Well, the Lions D-line is stepping up, and that's what we needed. So hopefully we've turned a corner. Hopefully we can take some pressure off Aaron Glenn, meaning take our foot off his throat. And he keeps, I'm not satisfied with that third quarter, though. It seems like he played a little soft, but I love you know what? I will say this. Our team, there's been one word that there's been, well, maybe 3 words that we've been hearing a lot of. 1, grit. 2, salty. But you know a word that we've been hearing a lot, that I've noticed that the players are saying it, Dan Campbell saying it, Elaine McNeil loves to say it, violence. But not the bad type of violence, the good type of violence. Our team is playing with violence, and that's what those 12 sacks are indicative of. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Has the Lions defense turned a corner by way of the defensive line? Let me know. All right, let me see. Yes, Mr. Poole, I did see that. I got that about an hour ago. Well, maybe 30 minutes ago. I was having lunch with my wife, and it came through. The Las Vegas police have made an arrest in the 1996 drive-by shooting of hip-hop icon Tupac Shakur. Almost 30 years after his murder. That is crazy. That's crazy. Now we just got to get Biggie, and we square. We are square. Still not sold on the defense, but they deserve credit for stepping up in a dominant way. I'm sorry, did screw us. Aaron, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? As a matter of fact, let me try to I want to talk about something as well. I'm going to try to find the clip of the play clock yesterday, of the game clock. Okay, Thursday night football game clock. Let me see if that pops up. Okay. See if I find it. All right. Anybody? Oh, here we go. Is this from last night? No, that's, Lord have mercy, that's from 7 years ago. All right. Anybody got a clip of the game clock running out? Let me know. Let me know. Play clock. The game clock. Not the game clock. We need J-Mo back to open up the field. I think he meant the refs. Yes. That's what I mean. End of the third quarter. Talk about the game clock. Yes. Robin says it was over 1.21 seconds that okay. NFL is being ridiculous. Yeah, I'll look out for that, Mr. Poole. Thank you. They are being ridiculous. They hit my live stream yesterday, and they're not stopping anytime soon. Yeah, link it in here, bro, if you don't mind. Dale says play clock isn't reviewable, unfortunately, but it was on 0. Yes. They talked about that yesterday. So here's what I'll do. I have been a firm believer in the NFL narrative. And if you've been watching me for any amount of time, you know that I am a firm believer. And what that means is, do I think the NFL is scripted? I do not. I think it's funny that the NFL is throwing this whole script thing in your face. You know, sometimes people do their best. Remember the movie, what was it? The Usual Suspects. Ooh, spoiler alert. If you haven't seen The Usual Suspects, you have 5 seconds to get out of this stream or this video, okay? Haven't seen, spoiler alert. The bad guy was in front of your face the whole time, right? That's the NFL. Now, do I think it's script? No. Do I think it's narrative driven? Yes. I think there are storylines in play. And I've said long time, I came to believe, and I don't want to do this to anybody because I could ruin your image of the game. So I don't want you to, watch the video if you think that the NFL is 100%, that there aren't storylines in the NFL. You got to remember the NFL is entertainment. It's like watching your favorite TV show. Yes, it's two teams going back and forth, but it is entertainment. Entertainment involves you being entertained, right? It's not Russell Crowe and Gladiator, but what makes entertainment? Storylines. The highest paid quarterback, the Miami Dolphins putting up 70 points. There is a entertainment narrative factor in the NFL, okay? Whether you like it or not, whether you want to see it, all you got to do is take the veil off. You can see it. With that being said, the third quarter game clock gets down to triple zeros. And while the Detroit Lions defense is not really playing because they're expecting the Packers to not be able to get a playoff, and then they relax when the game clock hits triple zeros. The play is allowed to happen, which led to a huge gain by the Green Bay Packers. And if it weren't for whoever was back there, that would have been a touchdown. I have said this many times before, that the narrative has changed for the Detroit Lions. It has changed. And it began with the firing of Matt Patricia. That's where the narrative began to change. I was supremely confident yesterday, if you go back and watch either one of my streams on any one of my channels, that we were not going to lose that game. That once we got up the way that we did, supremely confident. Did not think it was going to happen. I see you, Antoine. Appreciate you, bro. Let me pin that so I can come back to it. But the narrative is changing, ladies and gentlemen, for the Detroit Lions. It is our time to shine. I saw an interesting stat, or I heard it yesterday. Let me know if you saw it or heard it in the broadcast. The Detroit Lions are the only OG. This is a new stat that I didn't know existed, right? We're the only OG team, meaning original NFL days back in the day, team to not appear in the Super Bowl. Now, you might be like, well, what about the Browns? Yes, the Browns have never appeared in the Super Bowl either. The Jacksonville Jaguars and the Houston Texans. I get it right one day. When the Browns were dissolved and moved to Baltimore, they were gone for 3 years. So they essentially came back into the league. But for 3 years, the Browns were not a thing. Therefore, there is a gap between OG Browns and new Browns. That leaves the Detroit Lions as the only team to not, from the OG standpoint, to not make the Super Bowl. We know every Lion stat there is. Every negative Lion stat there is, we know. But that one I didn't know. I didn't know that they counted that gap as a gap. And just like we saw last night, our team, we've been seeing it for years. We were unable, we didn't have the talent to overcome the narrative that is the NFL machine. And we have it now. And we're getting better. We're getting better. And I'm a firm believer that Brad Holmes is going to be a buyer at the trade deadline. There's a receiver. It's not going to be an offensive lineman. It's not going to be a linebacker. It's not going to be a cornerback. It's going to be an edge rusher, a defensive tackle, or a wide receiver. Did I say it's not going to be a wide receiver? It is going to be a wide receiver. It's not going to be a cornerback, right? The narrative for the Detroit Lions is changing. And you'll see the word narrative pop up a lot in the NFL. It's a language they like to use. And last night, when we saw it, I know that some of y'all was nervous. I was never nervous. I was upset. I started getting irritated because you could see the game change and you saw why it was changing. And it all really began in that third quarter. And they capped it off with the most ridiculous. And you know what we usually get, people? We get a nice little message. You know what happens when a call is missed or a call is blown? You get an apology letter in the NFL. The team gets a I'm sorry. The Lions took the control out of the ref's hands yesterday. You can't leave it because the NFL narrative is in play. So from the busted play clock to the miraculous flags in the third quarter, the Detroit Lions overcame the NFL narrative. But if you remember me from 8 or 9 months ago, what did I tell you? When we did not get into the playoffs and we saw what happened in Seattle, the NFL, we had put the NFL on notice going 8-2. Or, and to that point, we were 8-1. And I'm sorry, we were 7-2. We put the NFL on notice and they wanted us to pause. They wanted us to pump the brakes, sit this one out because your time is coming. Right? And here it is. And the Lions showed that yesterday by overcoming the NFL narrative. That was the worst one. And here's another thing too. On Thursday night, the weirdest things happen, right? I'm not trying to get conspiracy, but the weirdest things happen on Thursday night. Everybody was embracing for the Detroit Lions to blow a fourth quarter lead, except me, right? And some of you in the chat, I knew it wasn't going to happen because our time is here. So NFL has to be better, but the Detroit Lions were better than the NFL last night. The narrative has changed. We are not the same old Lions. You got to remember, the NFL was treating us like the same old Lions. Remember the Houston Texans running back who had a knee down and they let the brother run to the other side and score a touchdown. Times are changing. So I know it's hard. I know we have PTSD, but we got to get over it because the narrative has indeed changed. It ain't going to be to wide receivers unless someone gets hurt. Okay, Evan. And that's based on what? Let's give Evan the floor. Evan, this is when I'm glad I wish we had the phone lines. Why would it not be a wide receiver? But I do want to do, as I'm waiting for Evan to respond, and I'm not trying to be any type of way. It annoys me. Why would we not get a wide receiver? I ain't going to lie. It seemed like the NFL was setting up for us to fail, but we've proven this wrong. That was Arian Foster. Really? KD, you lying, bro. Are you serious? The same NFL running back that said that the NFL was scripted is the same one that well, that's something. That's something. Play clock and refs tell us we have to win by 14 points every game. Evan says, Josh Reynolds is a good receiver. Number 2, what more does the guy have to do? Okay, Josh Reynolds, solid receiver. There's no doubt about it. He was balling out yesterday. There is a lack of, we need diversity on our team. We have no deep threat, and we've been winning. But I could see last night that Ben Johnson was trying to open that thing up. He was. We don't have that guy. Khalif Raymond, I love him to death, but he's not that guy like to blow the top off the defenses. So me personally, I think that we need a wide receiver for a multitude of reasons. Marvin Jones is 4 games in now. He has not had a catch in how many games? When was the last time Marvin Jones caught a pass? He could have caught one last night for all I know. I wouldn't. He just disappeared to me. Patty says J-Mo coming back. Indeed he is. I simply think that the Lions will be buyers at the trade deadline. Okay, so let me ask you a question. This goes to the chat. If the Lions are buyers at the trade deadline, what are they buying? I don't think he did. Yeah, I don't think he did either. Okay, so Anthony Richardson is out of concussion protocol, and he appears to be going to play on Sunday. Okay, Patty says Mike Evans, J-Mo is missing out on stats. That's true. Wide receiver, Jeremiah says offline. Okay, Higgins is too expensive. He's also in the last year of his deal, right? What's up, Stanley? Stanley, you got to keep calling games, bro. Edge rusher, Chase Young or Mike Evans. There's no denying Brown, Reynolds, or Laporta is it. We need one more top-notch receiver to make the playoffs. And, John, that's what I feel as well. I think that Brad Holmes As he said, the last press conference we saw right as the season was starting, that we are ready to compete. And if the Lions, okay, we got 10 days off, victory week, victory 10 days, going to feel fantastic. The Green Bay Packers fans are already crying, right? If we are, okay, let's say worst case scenario. What do you think worst case scenario for the Lions to be at the trade deadline? Let's take a look. Let's take a look, bro. Just think about this. Our team could be undefeated right now. Undefeated. All right. Let's see the Lions games. Okay, let me pull this in. Okay. Nope, not that one. Hold on, y'all. Let me move y'all over here. I need to bring this back because it's confusing me. I got this wireless mouse, and it gets laggy sometimes. I think it's based off my computer. All right, let me pull this over here. Okay, you know what? Y'all can't see that, so let's go to NFL.com. Let's change that. Scores. Man, it feels good to win. God, it feels so good to win. Teams. Nope, I want to go here. Hold on, y'all. Bear with me. Let me grab this schedule for the Lions. All right, hopefully we don't hear any sound here. Oh, let me go here. So they make you go to the entire website, man. I want y'all to be able to see. Okay. Lions. Because when you go to schedule, official website. All right. Schedule. Here we go. I'm sorry, y'all. All right. Okay, let's bring this in. Is it that one? Okay. All right. Okay. Let me see what the chat is saying first. I said Lions 6-2 at the bye. We need a deep wide receiver. We should beat the Panthers and the Bucks. Okay, Nick, I was thinking the same thing. Okay, so the Detroit Lions have 4 games before the trade deadline. We face the Carolina Panthers on the 8th, the 15th, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the 22nd, the Baltimore Ravens, and the 30th, which is Monday night, the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, I'm assuming that the one loss that you guys see is against Baltimore. I'm going to keep it a buck. I think we can beat them. I think we can beat the Baltimore Ravens. Odell Beckham, who knows if he's going to be in there. Zay Flowers, yeah, we got to account for him. The human joystick, the guy that y'all know I can't stand, Lamar Wilson Jackson, stop him as well, right? I think we can win that game. The only thing about that game is we on the road, and we owe the Ravens. You better believe that. We owe the Ravens. So I think we go in there and take it. That's just me. But we got to get past Carolina first. There's a legit chance to me the Detroit Lions could be 7-1. Real talk. They should have been 8-0. My team, the swagger of our team is off the charts. Jared Goff was calling folks out yesterday. David Montgomery, probably one of the most humble people I've seen in a long time. As far as like a running back, and he has so much ability, but he's super humble. Feels like he lets his team down when he's not out there. If the Lions are 7-1, 6-2 at the trade deadline, are we buyers? I think we are. A poor man's Matt Ryan. I also want to talk about the despicable human being that is the Hold on, because I want to pull this up. We're going to talk about it. Let me get my... All right, here we go. Here we go. All right. Okay, where we at? Okay. Here we go. You know, we've seen some things in our time as being fans. I have never seen so many disagreements, I'll put it like that, for the sake of the YouTube algorithm and their demonetization policy. There's been a lot of riffraff, a lot of nonsense at stadiums over the past 4 games. I mean, 4 weeks has been ridiculous. Every time I'm scrolling on Twitter, I see some insane, ridiculous thing happening, right? I saw something last night on the broadcast when I was streaming, and I made a reference about it, how this individual who, you know what? Well, let me show you what happened. I'm going to show you what happened to our star receiver, St. Brown, yesterday. This is after he scored his touchdown. We will be talking about that in the video as well. Now, I want you to look at this lady right here. I thought this was a dude, but this is a woman. This is a woman. And if you see it, she's pouring beer on St. Brown. Now, for those of you who don't know, because maybe you've never had somebody pour beer on you, that is a assault. That's what that is. That is an assault charge. But you know what? We're not going to take it that far. This woman right here, who from this angle that y'all can't see, let me see if I can change that. I can. All right. I can. This woman right here, who looks like a dude from this angle, is pouring beer on our wide receiver, who's getting mad love from St. Brown. And I love this lady right here. Let's bring it positive. This lady right here, her dreams just came true. Look at the way she's holding St. Brown. She couldn't wait. That's one of them hugs like, Let me get a hug right there. But let's go back and let's talk about this despicable human being right here. Right here. She needs to be put out of the stadium today. They need to ban her for the rest of her Packer life. Kick her out of the stadium. That's despicable, and I hope that they find her and they put her out. Shout out to these Packer fans over here. This guy right here, I don't know what's going on there. He feeling some type of way. Shout out to this guy, and that guy, and this guy right here holding the phone. And my man's right here, who I'm assuming he's with her. And let's see if they show the lady. And this lady comes in with a little hip touch right there, right? They need to find this woman. Who is this woman? And kick her out of the stadium. Find her and put her out. It's all over social media. It will be a video from this channel as well, making sure that that woman never steps foot in Lambeau Field again. You cannot do that. It's despicable, and I hope she gets banned for life. Don't you touch my wide receiver. That's all I'm saying. What's up, Grid? What's up, Denzel? Says, I am so glad the Lions are in first place. Lead the North. I am so happy for Lions fans. Bottom right. Regretting buying the Love jersey. He is. He does have on the Love jersey. That is crazy. That is crazy. I thought for sure that was a dude during the game. Bro, Lone, me and you both. Me and you both. They got a real good shot of her. Somebody actually took a shot of their television and put it on social media. So I hope that they take care of her. The Lions, man, I'm thinking about how good of a win yesterday was. How big of a win was it yesterday? How big was yesterday's win? That's right, you did. How big was yesterday's win for the Detroit Lions? Any updates on Branch? Well, last night, they came out that Brian Branch is, you know what? Let's do that. Let's do that. Yesterday, Brian Branch went down, and I thought it was over. Non-contact, and those are the worst. I'm thinking he popped his Achilles. That's the first thing I thought. Went down, could barely put pressure on it. Then we see the cart come out. Brian Branch, I'm thinking season's over. We've already lost C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Now we've lost this guy who is on pace to be Defensive Rookie of the Year. No doubt about it. And I'm thinking he's gone. Takes the cart to the back, comes back out, gets taped up, went out and made a play. Now, while this is happening, and I'm usually not like this with players, but I like this kid. I really, really do. I didn't really know much about him before he became a Detroit Lion. All I knew is that he was a first round talent that by no means should have made it out of the first round. And that he embodies the identity of this team. And that he went down and I thought it was over. When I see him come back on the field, this kid is so legit. He made a play injured, which C.J. Gardner-Johnson played the majority of game 2 with a torn pectoral. We got some dogs on our team, some gritty warriors on our team. But my question was, why is he back out there? The game is well out of hand, in my opinion. Why did he come? But he came out and made a play anyway. I don't think he got re-injured. I think the injury he already had was aggravated, looked like. But it's coming out as of yesterday that the x-rays were negative. I haven't heard anything today, but it looks just like a ankle sprain. Mr. Poole says x-rays show nothing broken on Branch, and we will probably know more today or Monday. No cap, I got sad when Branch went down. You and me both. Branch is much better off than GB. Not for no love for love. It wasn't a must win, but we had to have the game to get rid of the SOL narrative. See, I disagree. I said the next 2 wins had to be must win. I thought Branch was done too. Stupid to put him back out there. And that's what I'm wondering. Branch shouldn't have played after the injury. He's too valuable. Thankfully, we have 10 days off to rest and heal. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Why was Brian Branch out there? Brian Branch seems like the type of guy you need to protect from himself. We all know those people. You might even be one of those people where somebody has to protect you from yourself. Wasn't Brian Branch a walk-on in Alabama and started some games his freshman year? They tried to bench Branch after he went down the second time. He actually said no and went back in. He's a fighter. Okay. Mr. Poole, people in the chat, people watching this back on video. My son, okay? Have you ever thought that your child is a walking death trap? Like if you don't do anything to protect them, you don't put the pad on the corner of the cabinets, you don't lock the silverware drawer, that you don't button things to the wall, you don't put the tip guard, that you don't put the outlet plugs in there, that they literally will walk and be their own demise. We have to stand in their way, right? What fighter? Okay, I'm going to fight you if you don't sit your butt down. That's how that's going to go. Forget all that, bro. Forget all that. That's the same thing as sitting because I'm going to tell you what, I was feeling some type of way. Jared Goff was taking some hits yesterday, and I'm like, pull him out. This game is won. Our defense will do what needs to be done. Pull him out. Put in Teddy Two Gloves. These pieces are too valuable. And Brian Branch, in just his 4th game, is already too valuable. We've already lost C.J. Gardner-Johnson. It's too valuable. Pull him out. So I'm thinking, why? Why, if I'm Dan Campbell, why are you think I care that you want to go back in? No, you're hurt. I'm not going to let you do that. Sounds like a high ankle sprain. He came back in the 4th. High ankle sprains suck. I used to get them all the time playing basketball. I mean, y'all know I'm telling the truth. I'm telling the truth. I tell my son all the time. He's turning 14 in January. And I'm like, listen, when you was little, like, did you think about it? They just goo goo gaga mama all the way just around the table. I'll tell you a story about my kid. So I was a real super, like, by the book father when my son was little. He couldn't be in a 9-month if he was 8-month. Like, that's how I was, right? So I remember distinctly, Bye Bye Baby was the thing around here, the extension of Bed Bath & Beyond, which they're both no more now. But I go and I get these corner protectors. They are foam corner protectors. And in our house, we were living in an apartment at the time, and there was a really, really sharp corner between the dining room and the hallway. And I said, you know what? That corner looked mighty deadly. So I stick one of my foam corner protectors on the wall. You know you did it. Okay, we all did it. All right. Something in our house was baby proof. What does he do? He's learning how to walk. He's at the 8-9 month mark. He's walking, and wham, head first right into, you guessed it, the protective foam on the corner. would have left the brother with a scar for life. Because when I say he fell, he fell. I mean, tripping, falling, fell about 4 feet right into the wall. I mean, he bounced off of it thanks to dad and his protective foam. So Brian Branch, somebody got to step up and save him from himself. You cannot allow an asset like Brian Branch just 4 games in, and I didn't watch him in college, and I already see how great he is and how great he will be. You cannot let him dictate what's going on. Pull him out of the game, period. That's it. No discussion. Remember, everybody's dad used to say end of discussion? My dad was notorious for the end of discussion. And when you heard end of discussion, what did that mean, people? You couldn't say another word. That meant you needed to change the subject. So if I'm Dan Campbell, I put some tobacco in my mouth and I say, Brian Branch, you're not going back out there. End of discussion. That's how that goes. Or the Chargers on the road. Do you think we can beat Baltimore? I do. Do I think we can beat the Chargers? That's going to be tough. The Chargers, but they also lost Mike Williams for the season. But they got Allen. He balling over 30. They got Palmer, right? He's still over there. Austin Eckler, but we're pretty solid against the run. Justin Herbert slanging it. The Chargers, they just seem to have something. This will be the year we can beat them, but it's a long way away. I got to wait and see. Right now, I would say we can beat Baltimore, but we play the Chargers a little later, I think. Everything is great for me, Aaron. How about you? Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I completely missed. I said I was going to come back. Antoine says, with the $10 dono, appreciate you, bro. What up, though, Derek? You came a long way. I remember those round table days. Well, Antoine, I will never forget them, sir. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Chargers D is buns. Well, you know. What about Hunter Renfrow? I don't think, no. I'm good. Great. I looked at a couple contracts. If we're buyers at the deadline, what do you think about Leonard Williams or Carl Lawson? I would have to definitely look and see what they're doing this year. I like Lions to win at least 12. Well, D, I said the ceiling was, I have them at 13-4, 11-5 at the lowest. As long as Brandon Staley is on the Chargers, they'll find a way to lose. Yeah, he's getting fired this year. Ravens have no run game and no receivers. Definitely beatable. Yeah, what happened to Odell? I thought Odell was supposed to be the man over there. What happened to him? Odell, I don't play. Locked On Lions is going to be doing what? What are they doing? Packers reaction. Lions go 13-4. Can somebody, without cheating, tell me the best record the Detroit Lions have ever had in the Super Bowl era? We got 1-3 every quarter. If we go 1-3 every quarter, we good. That's what? That's 13-4, right? 13-4. Evan says 11-5. Okay, let's do this. I meant to do this earlier, but let's do it now. Let's do it now because I got distracted. Okay. Here we go. I'll be going to the Chargers-Lions game. That's what's up, man. SoFi is fantastic, man. Have a great time. Don't sit up top if you can help it because they don't clean the seats up there. Wouldn't it be nuts if the Lions went out? There's like 0% chance that will happen, but it would be awesome. That'd be ridiculous. How many TDs does Lamar have? I have no idea. Lone says 11-5. I'll be at the Chargers game too. That's what's up, 10. You know, I was thinking about coming to that game, bro, but I've already been to SoFi, and I would love to go to some places I've never been. So I think I'm going to make a round. If we ever play Stafford at SoFi again, I will be going. But I have that I was telling somebody about that we'll talk about before the show ends. We'll make it our last segment. Okay. Nick says 4-12 in 1991. That is correct. That is the same year that we were one game, a butt whipping away from going to the Super Bowl. All right. So here we go. Let's talk about the record. All right. So the Detroit Lions, I know it's early, right? I know it's early. Yeah, it is. But I'm sick of being in the same old Lions mentality. There's nothing wrong with talking about the future. And the future is looking bright for your Detroit Lions. I made a season prediction during the schedule release where I talked about the Lions record. What could I see them? And I was spitting off wins. Now, if you were not watching me last year, I predicted the Lions to go 9-8. I was 1 or 2 games off from the teams that they beat. I predicted the struggle at the beginning. I predicted the run at the end. I think Carolina was the only game that I got wrong. I think I had them losing to Green Bay once as well. So, yeah, put some respect on my name. But we're talking about the potential. The Lions ended the first quarter of the season yesterday with a 34-20 win over the Green Bay Packers. It wasn't as close as the score said. The Lions only scored once in the second half, and the defense seemed to let their foot off the gas. And to me, the offensive play calling was kind of suspicious that second half. But we walked away with the win, and that's all that matters. So what with the Lions being 3-1 to end the first quarter, Nick brought out in the comment section that if they finish every quarter losing 1 game, which is basically 1 loss per month, that puts the Lions at 13-40 to end the season. If you're talking about Philadelphia Eagle territory right now, you're talking about San Francisco 49er. If we're doing that, we're talking legit first seed. But let's slow down a little bit. All right. When we know it's any given Sunday, and we've seen our team blow a game they should win and lose a game they should win a game they should lose, right? So let's look at the schedule. And let's do this. We are trying to, where should the Lions be by the bye week? So we're not going to run through the whole season. Injuries happen. So let's bring in this graphic here from NFL.com or DetroitLions.com. I'm sorry. And let's look at the Detroit Lions schedule to the bye week. Now, we have 4 games, and we talked about this earlier in the show. Detroit Lions with the 1-point win over the Kansas City Chiefs. This should be a win, but I still can't shake it. Then we beat the Atlanta Falcons, and we just got a dub yesterday. Puts us at 3-1 on the season. We get what do we get? We get a home game and an away game. We get 10 days till our next game. And this is the currently 0-3 Carolina Panthers. I think they're going to lose to the Minnesota Vikings and face us at 0-4. We're going to see 2 familiar faces with DJ Chark. We're also going to see Deuce Staley, who is over there as well. I think the defensive line coach went there, so that's 3 familiar faces. All right, so let's say we get a win here. I think they're going to go crazy at Ford Field, sell it out. It's probably already sold out. It's going to be loud. Bryce is going to play, and he's going to get rocked. Lions going to get a couple more sacks. Then we go on the road to Tampa. I think this game is trap-worthy. It's going to be hot. They got Mike Evans, but Baker Mayfield is not that great. Okay? Now, the Baltimore Ravens on the road against Lamar and co. And then we come back to a Monday Night Football at Ford Field. Ford Field. Okay? So what could the Lions reasonably be? Comment section, Nick is saying 6-1. Braylon is saying 7-1 by the bye week. Yeah, Nick, that's more like it, man, because we play 4 more games. Tampa Bay should be tough. I still like Deuce. Told y'all we would dominate. 7-1. 7-1. Okay, so without feeling myself, I think that we legitimately can beat the Panthers. I think they go to 0-4. They're facing us at 0-4. I think we can beat them at home. I don't think that we lose. I also don't think we lose to the Raiders. We got Devontae David, who will probably still be there, and Jimmy G throwing the rock. This game here is a trap game, in my opinion. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are playing good football. They still got good players on their team. We're going down there. This game is a trap game to me. This game here is the one that most of you have us losing. If you have us losing a game, it is to this team here. And I think I'm more worried about this game than I am this game. I just don't believe in the Ravens. I don't. If they coach a good game and you contain Lamar, you beat this team. You beat this team. Don't forget, our 2021 Detroit Lions gave the Baltimore Ravens all they could handle. Literally. They had to get helped out by the refs, which we discussed earlier in the show. I'm not worried about the Ravens. I've never believed Lamar Jackson is their quarterback. I do not believe in him nor their team. So I think that if it's a game I'm worried about, I mean, if you want to say worried about, I'm worried about all of them. Carolina, we got to get the stank out of our mouth from what they did to us last year. The Baltimore Ravens, I just don't believe in Lamar. I do not. You game plan for him, you win. And as far as the Raiders, I have no faith in them as well. Josh McDaniels is a horrible coach who is probably on his way to being fired. My next game that I'm probably worried about is the Chargers. So we could go into, and then we have a bye week, week 9, and we come out and play the Chargers week 10, which I would go to that game if I wasn't trying to go to New Orleans at the beginning of December. So I want to go to New Orleans. I would love to go to Minnesota and Dallas, but we'll see how the funds, and the funds is funny, bro. They are definitely funny, if you know what I mean. So my guess and my assumption is worst case scenario, we drop one to either the, I hate to say it, I think we beat the Raiders, I'm sorry, the Ravens, but I could see us losing as well because it's just the Ravens. We got that walk-off from 2 years ago. I think the Lions, the worst case scenario, 6-2. The team they lose to, I don't know. Could be the Ravens, could be a trap game. I see 6-2. 6-2 going into not only the trade deadline, but the bye week as well. So that leads me to believe, and I've said this on a different show, that the Detroit Lions will be buyers at the trade deadline, which will allow said player to come in this team, get the bye week, and come out and face the Chargers in SoFi in week 10. Let me know your thoughts. I'm going to be at the, really, bro? Okay, so for me, as we wrap up the show, we got a couple minutes left. My goal, okay, is to go to a couple more games, especially how YouTube is doing us streamers, bro. Most of us. My goal is to go. I want to go to New Orleans. I want to go to US Bank Stadium. I want to go to AT&T. Those are the 3 places I want to go. I just don't know if the funds will line up for me to go. Devonta Adams, just because any given Sunday and injuries could happen, you never know. That is true. That is true. Okay. All right. Where is he at? Okay. All right, so this guy, D. Wayner, is that your name, bro? That's what you stepped into this chat with, a name like D. Wayner, says it's time to trade JG while he has a little bit of respect. I heard Geno Smith is on the trade block. Okay. Not today. I'm not doing it today. I'm not doing it today. Maybe he just wanted to see something. It's got to be. I'm not doing it today. Y'all have your golf segment from before. So for the next 2 weeks, the Detroit Lions. Now that's if he doesn't press me, because if he press me, then I can't control what happens then. No one is that stupid. I guarantee you the Washington Commanders will literally grovel for Jared Goff. It's about how Baker plays. When he's good, he's good. When he's bad, he's bad. He's beaten us a few times, and he was average that day. I may try for the Dallas game like 8-hour drive. Wow. Yeah, my cap is 5 hours. I can't drive any more than 5 hours. Goff is a top 5 QB. Goff is playing very, very good. Yesterday, he was too excited. He needed to settle down. You could see it. It was a horrible throw. He tried to force it to St. Brown when he had no business doing that. Bad throw by Jared Goff. It happens. Put pressure on Baker. He's going to mess up. Yeah, he can also get away from you too. So I think the Detroit Lions, realistically, 6-2, 7-1. This team is 11-3 in their last 14 games. That's not just going to stop. The only reason that would stop is if somebody got hurt. And, God forbid, Jared Goff or somebody gets hurt that we really, really is an asset to our team, then yeah, that could change. We don't need our first next year. Pick up Higgins. Okay. This will be our last segment of the day. I made a T. Higgins video last week. Some of y'all liked it, some of y'all didn't. And a comment was just brought up. Says, we don't need our first next year. Pick up T. Higgins. So the question that I have for you, Lions fans, is, are the Detroit Lions in a position to start trading away picks for players? What do you think? Had a conversation with two friends of mine this morning, and one thing is clear, is Brad Holmes he's conservative when it doesn't come to the draft. In the draft, he's very risque, right? He will go for it. Jameson Williams coming back up, doing all this stuff. Very conservative in the non-draft part. He will trade players away. We've seen TJ Hawkinson go, right? But is it time for the Detroit Lions to become buyers, and do we need a first-round pick next year? Aaron says no, meaning it's not time. Is he worth a first-round pick? Well, he's also going to get a ton of money, speaking of T. Higgins. I'd rather get a good DT in the draft or a good receiver. I don't think Holmes wants to pay. Always strive to be a buyer. Wynn says yes. Okay, so let's put up a quick poll real quick, which is the same thing. Are the Detroit Lions, I just put trade out of the first because I don't feel like typing all that. Trade out or trade our first away. This is when a producer would come in. And it already says yes or no. So we'll take the poll results at the end of the segment. So are the Detroit Lions in a position to start trading away picks? We're going to focus on that first round pick. I'll give you my thoughts at the end. Trading away a first for a player would be a big mistake. I don't think any player who would be available at the deadline would be worth that capital. Okay. Aaron says we're going to need our salary to resign our players, not just for him. Okay. So we're talking about T. Higgins. Brad Holmes is most dangerous with draft picks. That is true. Wynn says yes. Right now, the poll results are a surprising 71% no to 29% yes after 24 votes. If you're in here, vote. I would appreciate that. Nick says we got no pass rusher under contract next year except for Hutch because you will still have to pay Evans or Higgins. Brad does damage in the 4th through 6th rounds. We don't need our first. Okay, so the chat seems to think 69 to 31% that we should not trade our first round pick. Okay, so it's two different questions. Do y'all even know who's draft eligible? It's not a good pool for our weaknesses. Facts, Jack Campbell is developing into a pass rusher. All right. What do I think? Wynn says trade. The poll results are 71 to 30, 69 to 31. Let's get 5 more votes. If you haven't voted, let's get 45 votes. Or at least give me one more so we can have an even number 40. Okay, we got 40. I'm going to end it there. 70% say no. 30% say yes. We have 40 votes. D-Ray says, I'm sorry, bro, says spend the first round on Evans or Adams. Okay. I think y'all know my answer. I think you know my answer. I think the Detroit Lions are in a position to trade away their first round pick. I think we are. Would I want to do that? Only for the right player. There's only a few players that are realistically in our reach. And when I say realistically, I mean that could possibly be on new teams next year, right? I would trade away a first round pick for a few guys. One, his name is Brian Burns. And two, his name is probably T. Higgins. Those are the two guys that I realistically would trade for. Less capital would be somebody like a Mike Evans. He is not going to require a first round pick. Neither is Chase Young. The issue is those players that I named, some of them are on the last year of their deal. So I'm not giving a first round pick without a new deal. That's not happening. But do I think that the Detroit Lions are in a position to draft away a first round pick? I do. And that is a really huge testament to the ability to build a team from Brad Holmes. I mean, he's had some misses. He has. Jamar Jefferson, he's a 7th round pick. Can you really call a 7th round pick a miss? Levi is on the fence. Pascal, he on the fence right now. Afitu Malifanu playing some good ball, but he's in his 3rd year. Kirby Joseph hit. St. Brown hit. So he has more hits than misses. And I think that continues after the first round. But here's my thought, and I keep going back to this. It's two things that make me think that we're ready. One is Dan Campbell loves these guys. Loves these guys. He just kept sticking with Kaminsky. He kept sticking with the same core that we have. And up until week 2, we didn't have a pass rush, or heading into week 3. The other thing is, it's something that really, you have to pay attention to the small things. And it goes under a lot of people's radar. But the last time, Brad Holmes' time is from January to August, right? And him and John Dorsey have a press conference, and he says, we're ready to compete. Not we're getting ready. Not we're almost there. Not where we are ready to compete, which means that Brad Holmes, this is just my opinion. Brad Holmes is saying, hey, if there's a guy that I want that can take us over the top, I will go get him. He has not done that yet, but I don't think that means he won't do it, if that makes sense. He seems to do it in the draft. We wanted Jamison Williams. We put these 2 picks together. We did it. We went up and we got him. We got Josh Pascal. We got Jamison Williams, right? We just haven't seen it outside of the draft. And I think this year there's a real possibility that somebody, because you got to remember, when it comes to Brian Burns, the Carolina Panthers could be going into the trade deadline probably 1 or 2 wins. We're talking about 2-6, 1-7. And the Carolina Panthers would be, in my opinion, willing to trade Brian Burns to get a first round pick that they do not have. They do not have. And here's my thought. We'll wrap this segment and the show up. The Carolina Panthers could take the Detroit Lions first round pick, package it with something else to try to get further up to get somebody they're looking at. Because right now, let's be real, Lions picking in the 20s. At best, they're picking in the 20s. So I think that while we can be, 7-1, 6-2, Lions become buyers, and I think they could give away their first round pick. Those are just my thoughts. Let me hear yours. Let me see. Could have Seahawks been rust from no preseason? The loss, it could be. I think it was some of that, but I also think it was just there was a couple of bad decisions made, and the defense was horrid. We could not stop Geno Smith. We need a first for offensive linemen to replace Big V. Okay? Or we can get one in free agency. Y'all keep forgetting about free agency. I voted no, but now I think about it about Efton picks, but he has to be the right person. Okay, I'll never be that guy because that type of strategy, bro, gets you in a doghouse. Like it gets you one good year and then you build in for the next 7 or 5 or 6. So I don't like that per se. I know what you're trying to say, but I'll never be forget them picks. For me, it is about the right person making the right move for the right person at the right time. And I think the Detroit Lions are in, and I think it needs to be, because I'm going to be real with you, all right? I wish we could go on a little further, but I got to go. We might extend the show by a little bit because it's one more thing I want to talk about. Okay. Let me ask y'all a question. Okay. Perfect segment. Let's have one more segment. I got a question for everybody watching. I want to know how you really feel. So put it in the comment section, right? There was an individual coming out in the 2023 draft who was a can't miss at the beginning. Slated to go, number 1 overall. We know what happened. His name is Jalen Carter. He falls to 9. The Detroit Lions passed on him, right? They passed on Jalen Carter. He's having a pretty nice start to his career. There's no denying that. In the offseason, I don't know if there was any defensive tackle. Somebody could do some stat research real quick and let me know if you don't mind. Was there any major defensive tackle? I'm talking Daron Payne. I'm talking Jeffrey Simmons. I'm talking Ed Oliver. Anybody that realistically the Lions could get through free agency. Because I want to say Daron Payne was franchise tagged or was about to be. Then he signed a massive deal or something like that. Let me know. But the question that I have for you is, we need a defensive tackle. When is the Detroit Lions going to take one? Is it Broderick Martin? Is that the guy? Is it, if we don't get one in free agency, when are we going to get one? Javon Hargrave. Okay, he plays for the Eagles, right? He plays for the, okay, hold on. See, this dude just made me mess up a segment. Hold on. Okay, Sam. All right. Let's entertain Sam real quick. I tried to be nice, okay? And I'm still going to be nice. Sam comes in and says, he's talking to me, of course, and he has something to say about me being incorrect about a certain Jerry Jacobs. Says, be a good sport and admit you were wrong about Jerry. Says, I don't know all of Jerry, give him his flowers, and you're wrong. First of all, Sam, why don't you go back to the beginning of this show when I did just that? Secondly, okay, one good game from Jerry Jacobs means what exactly? How about a tip drill pick? Very good. The other one, great interception. I'm talking about his pass coverage. Jerry Jacobs, I am not going to do that to him today, but since we want to talk about it, so let's talk about it. Can we stop acting like one good thing undoes all the bad that you do? See, winning covers everything. It does not cure anything. It does not cure anything. So let's not pretend as though Jerry Jacobs is a great cornerback. He is borderline good average. He had a good game. He got a lot of help. A great player is somebody that you can put and count on. You know who's a pretty decent cornerback? Beyond good, Cam Sutton. You know why? Because you don't hear his name at all. Jerry Jacobs had a pass interference call yesterday. Lot of hands. Do not come in here telling me to give anybody flowers when I'm going to stick by what I say. Go talk to somebody else. Okay? So let's talk about it. Jerry Jacobs, great game. Phenomenal tackles made. But we cannot pretend as though, see, this is what I love about y'all. Okay, y'all behind the camera folks, I love y'all, man. But I challenge anybody, make a channel, put your opinion out there every day, all day, and see how much criticism you get. I'm not going to say I'm wrong. He had a good game. I don't back down on things that I say. I still want a pass rusher. Absolutely. Is Aaron Glenn off the hot seat? He keep playing like this? Yes. Did I turn the temperature down? Yes. But I want to see consistency. We had one good game from Jerry Jacobs. And let me ask you a question. Okay, Sam, if you take away the tip drill interception and the other interception, what did Jerry Jacobs do? Somebody showed me his stats today. He had 10 targets. He had 61 yards allowed, a touchdown, and a pass interference call. But, PFF, we're just supposed to go by everything they say. I am not that guy. I'm not going to go back on stuff that I said, whether I'll say when I'm wrong. I am not wrong about Jerry Jacobs. I am not wrong about he had a good game. You know, most people are wrong about Jared Goff. So we can do this all day. I don't understand this. And that's the problem with y'all casual Lions fans. Get into some research, bro. Watch the team. Take your feelings out of it a lot of times. Jared Goff made a bad play yesterday, 2 games in a row. Horrible throw. I'm on his head. But do I think he's a bad quarterback? No. Do I think Jerry Jacobs is a good cornerback because he made 2 good plays? I do not. What was that song? I did not hit it. I did not. From the room, he is not. He is not a good corner. He had a great day. Fantastic. Keep it up. I give you your flowers. Absolutely. But I'm not going to all around say he's a great cornerback now because guess what? Guess what? All he needs is a solid receiver. And here comes the pass interference calls. Here comes everything else. Okay? Look, he makes plays. That's why he's on this team. I'm not trying to take anything away from Jerry Jacobs, but let's not act like he's Darrelle Revis. Let's not act like this game undid the rest of everything else he does. See, he got me started. That was his best game ever. The interception yesterday was baited. Wasn't that bad of a throw. I'm talking about the tip drill. What are you talking about? You talking about the other one? Yeah, it was good. Stephen A. Smith flip-flop all the time. Y'all should know me better than this. I don't flip-flop. That's not what I do. Either I'm wrong or I'm wrong. I'll say I'm wrong. I don't flip-flop though. Y'all got the wrong one. Y'all was on my head about James Houston. Did I ever change? I did not. I did not. I make videos and I think about the stuff that I said. I'm like, dang, they about to come in my head. They about to talk about me about this, or I said that, or whatever I said, but I stay committed, bro. Probably won't show up until next season. One game doesn't erase other crappy performances. That's like saying Will Harris is good. That's like saying, oh, Will Harris had a great game. No. You know who's not a bust? Aiden Hutchinson. You know who was saying it after 2 games? Y'all. Y'all was saying it. Y'all remember that? Y'all was saying it. He's a bust. He's a bust. He's far from it. That's like saying Jerry Jacobs is a good corner. He's okay. He is average. He's average. You can say I'm an average podcaster. But you know what I love about Jerry Jacobs? First of all, his workout routine is phenomenal. Okay, I got to work out with him. The second thing is he doesn't care. And when you're in a business like this, you can't. You have to stop caring. You have to, he shut down his social media. So it was starting to get to him. I don't want to be responsible for that. That made me think like, dang, man, these players, we say stuff about them and it's tough. I know it's got to be tough. Y'all say stuff about me, my hairline, whatever else y'all want to talk about. Come on, man. Doesn't make Jerry Jacobs a good player because he had a good team. I mean, a good game. That's it. He's an average to okay player. He would be on the 3rd or 4th string. Maybe 2nd. Maybe number. What cornerback y'all think Jerry is right now? If you had to tier him, where would he be? Or based off skill, where do you think it would be? Let me know. Big Talent says he's not terrible. Do we watch the same games? See, y'all making me sweat. Y'all making me sweat. Jerry Jacobs, okay, is he better than Amani? Oh, man, see, I should have had that. Remember when Amani had 6 interceptions and then he was terrible? You know what Jerry Jacobs is? Consistent. He's consistently Jerry Jacobs, which is okay. To me, he's borderline terrible. If you watch him, he is a pass interference magnet. If you want to target somebody and get some calls, who do you throw to? Jerry Jacobs. There's a reason for that, y'all. I'm not saying that he's terrible. I'm not going Nate Sudfeld, the guy, but he's on the line. He's on the line. I love his story. I think sometimes we get caught up in the story behind everything. Oh, Jerry, look, the story's great. He's in the NFL. He's doing well. He makes plays. That's why he's on the team. But to act like that, I'm not taking nothing back. That's just facts. Jerry, Amani, all day, every day. Jerry is a consistent backup QB. I think he can be QB2. That guy you dressed in way less than Will Harris. See, you know what, Cam? And that's your opinion. And I'm cool with that, bro. That's your opinion. I don't have any problem with your opinion. Your opinion is Jerry Jacobs is a number 2. I don't see that at all. But, that's your opinion. Will Harris is right above a towel person, and Will Harris is still in the league. Y'all remember Miles Killebrew, the human Swiss Army knife, finds a way to stay in the league? Would you say he's good? Grid is a non-combo, to be honest. Next week, Mosley replaces Jay. No, Dale. I mean, DH. He came in here telling me that I spat on Jerry Jacobs, and he had one game. He probably was the same person saying that Aiden Hutchinson was a bust. No, I'm not. I don't mean to be this hard on these players. I mean, it's not any disrespect, but I'm not going to sit here and say that he had a good game and now he's a good player. He's a football player. We have a bunch of them on our team. He makes plays sometimes that are good. Will Harris is one season off this team. He shouldn't be on this team this year. Mosley back next week against Carolina. 2 or 3 doesn't matter much to me. Mosley be replacing Jerry, but we probably see him on the same. Jerry is mid, to be honest. Do you think the opposing team safeties are going to still play up on us when J-Mo comes back? I think they will at first until J-Mo show them what they can do. That's all I'm saying, DM. That's all I'm saying. And what really kind of grinded my gears about that whole thing is he should have around the show. Like, I literally started off the stream talking about Jerry Jacobs, and now I wasn't going to be negative on him today. I could talk about, you know what I can't stand, and we'll wrap up the show. Went a little long today. I can't stand when people, they have to say what you're not. They have to say, it happens a lot. Just start opening, listen to people who talk about, now is he this? No. Is Jared Goff Patrick Mahomes? He's not. Like, why do you have to say that? Why do you have to say what they're not? So that's what I wasn't going to dwell on Jerry and his pass interference call, which he is notorious for. I gave him his flowers, gave him his props. I'm not wrong. That does not make him a good corner. But I'm also a dude sitting in his basement while Dan Campbell is his coach. And this guy plays in the NFL. So, shoot, I have a right to say what I'm going to say, period. Braylon with the dono says, I trust Jerry over Will Harris all day. That's a tough spot to be in, but I think you're right. But Will Harris was drafted a safety. He wasn't even supposed to be playing corner. So, but you're right. I'll take that all day. Will Harris and Kabinda must have dirt on Brad Holmes to still be on this team. You know what, Rainbow? You've been a little feisty last week. Last couple of weeks, you've been feisty. Letting your feelings be known about Jerry Jacobs and Will Harris and Jason Kabinda. I love it. I was blowed. He had 2 interceptions. He did, bro. And one of them was a tip drill. Literally anybody could probably catch that, right? I'm not trying to be that guy, but I'm just saying the second one was a good INT. It was a good INT, but I'm not about to make this guy the second coming of Darrell Revis. He had a good game. That's it. I couldn't do what Jerry Jacobs does, so it doesn't matter. Well, Dale, you ain't supposed to be. You ain't supposed to do. You're not an NFL player. If you're in the NFL, you're supposed, and yes, he's an NFL player, so I'll give him his flowers. But so are a lot of miserable guys, a lot of horrific guys. I see a lot of terrible corners. Jacobs is average, which ain't bad for the UDFA. And that's what I'm saying. And to me, I think if there's a tier, right? If there's a tier and this tier, my hand is average. To me, my finger is Jerry Jacobs. I'm sorry. He every time he tries to pop over the average line, he get 3 or 4 pass interferences. If you are targeted by opposing offenses, to me, you cannot be average. You have to be borderline, like below average. You know that guy that comes in off the bench when he just comes in and they immediately start picking on him? That's Jerry Jacobs. There's a reason he gets targeted the most. Yes. Okay, so Sand, I like that, says Jerry Jacobs is low end average. When does Jameson Williams come back? We will win. He comes back in week 7 if he's ready to play. And I'm with you, Rainbow. I got to go. We went over. I got to go pick up the kid. Oh, my God. He gets out in 20 minutes. I will see y'all on Monday. Okay? Enjoy. The name of this song is called The Detroiters Theme. You can find it on iTunes or YouTube or whatever. Enjoy Victory Weekend, and I'll see you on Monday to talk more Detroit Lions. Take care of yourself and each other. Lions lead the division. Peace.
Hello, good morning. Horns is blowing, and I'm pissing off the neighbors. Whether homegrown or imported, we feeling shorted, cause we waiting on our paper. So next time, when they ask you where you from, You gon' say Detroit City when we get back on our feet. Next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City when we get back on our feet. Yeah, you don't know about the D, you don't know about the streets. Cause when you're in the Motor City, nothing is as pretty as the hustle. You don't know about the day, you don't know about the streets. Cause when you're in the Motor City, everything ain't pretty but it's love though. Next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City when we get back on our feet. Next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City when we get back on our feet. Yeah.
All right, let me make one thing clear, okay? I want to address, and I think that's probably my most negative trait is that I cannot just keep my mouth shut. Big Teflon says I'm trolling who? Jerry Jacobs because Brian Branch had a tip drill interception. That's your logic? I'm trolling him because they both had Brian. Okay, well, how about Brian's went to the crib? How about Brian makes plays continually? How about Brian was a first round talent that fell stupidly to the second round? How about there is no comparison between the two players? That's like saying that Jared Goff or Nate Sudfeld is Patrick Mahomes. We are not doing this. There is no comparison. What I'm saying is on a regular basis, Jerry Jacobs get his barbecue sausage. He had a good game. You have never said in 4 games pretty much anything negative about Brian Branch. Brian Branch is a safety who makes plays and is not targeted. Brian Branch is the guy you don't throw to in his direction because he'll pop whoever catches it. Jerry Jacobs is the guy that you pick on. Okay. So I can literally do this all day. With that being said, enjoy yourself. As a matter of fact, I got a guy that's hopefully working on an outro. City of Detroit footage. He's super busy, but when he can do it, that's gonna be the intro and outro of footage of the city of Detroit to go along with the song. Listen, I am not a troll. I don't do any of that stuff. I just call it like I see it. Whether you like it or not, that is not my problem. I do not care, right? So it sounds mean, it is, but I can't care because then I would go to that corner that's in my basement and stand there. All right. I'm going to say what I say and I say it. All right. So enjoy your weekend. I literally could do this all day.